Welcome. Totally impromptu live today. I wanted to talk to you about something that everybody always wants to talk about, which is mastering splits. Yes, this seems to be sort of the holy grail of yoga, besides, of course, handstands. And so today I just want to talk to you about an exercise that I really love for all of my students to help you with splits. So I'll wait a few minutes, not even minutes, seconds for some people to log on. And then when we start, just keep in mind that I will be answering questions at the end. So if you have questions that I can answer for you, type them in at the end, okay? Because I'm not gonna be able to read it while I am showing you how to do this exercise. So again, I'm Shana Meyerson with YOGAthletica in Los Angeles, California. Keep in mind, never, ever, especially when you're like 54 years old, ever practice your splits before you are fully warmed up. Now that being said, I'm fully warmed up. I already did my 2.5 hour practice today. But if you don't know the proper warm-ups for the splits, and for that matter, if you don't know the name of splits, in yoga we call them Hanumanasana. I'm talking about like forward back splits. I'll show you in 1 second. Go to my Hanumanasana video where it gives you full instructions, okay? Now, that being said, I really encourage you, yoga is not a practice of poses. Yoga is a practice of yoga. So if you are just trying to do splits, for example, instead of like doing the whole thing, meaning like sun salutations, standing poses, maybe some inversions, arm balances, back bend stretches, floor stretches, finishing series, stuff like that, you're missing out, okay? Yoga is not an end result, it's a process, okay? So what do you do about that? Check out my Vimeo channel. It's in the description. That's where you're gonna get hundreds, literally hundreds of unique classes to help you hit any goal, literally any goal you have in yoga. Whether it's like super beginner, like you wanna learn how to sit comfortably on the floor, to super advanced, you wanna learn how to press into handstands. I've got the classes that will give you the proper warm-ups to do it all. I'm gonna put this mat up against the wall. Now, let's talk about splits. If you're here today, there's a good chance that you saw my short on how to use the blocks for splits. We are not going to be going over that today, okay? That is in my Hanumanasana video, but let me just give you a quick refresher because it's got, I don't know, over 2 million views now. So I guess it's been pretty popular. So again, this is something you would do after you were already warm. Get the warm-ups either on my Hanumanasana video or on my Vimeo. Also, I can see comments coming in, but from here, I cannot see the comments. So just know that when I'm done demonstrating, that's when I'll start looking at comments and questions. Please feel free to chat. Please feel free to super chat. But I'll be answering any questions you have about the splits after this demo. Okay, so the basic way to sort of learn your splits, if you, let's say you're new to splits and you're warm, would be, as I mentioned in that short that has gotten so many views, but also in my Hanuman video that explains how to do it, is you start high. Like start on 3 blocks, 4 blocks if you need to. Front leg is straight. The back leg will not be straight on this one. You want your knee on the floor. And then when that becomes easy, this is the part that people miss out on, okay? I shoot these videos in whatever, 30 seconds. It doesn't mean it took me 30 seconds to figure out how to do a split. It took me years. You're just seeing 30 seconds after years. So when I say when you feel like you're ready to get rid of a block, I don't mean after 2 breaths or 5 breaths or 10 breaths. It might be 2 breaths, it might be 5 months, and it might be 10 years. You have to work with your own body and you have to be okay with where you are in the process. So if that's easy. And by the way, this is not the point of today's video. I'm just reiterating, you probably saw this. And if you want to get into this, I'm going to show you a drill that's going to make it even easier. Right? So as it gets easier, obviously I can go lower and lower. This back leg gets straighter and straighter until voila. Now again, this is me at 54 years old. I have been practicing for minimum 1.5 hours, if we want to go back to when I just started yoga, to now up to 3 hours a day since the year 2001. Okay, so 24 years. So please don't get frustrated with your own process because you're not doing the things that I've been practicing for 24 years yet. Okay, a lot of people are like, oh, you're just naturally bendier, you're naturally stronger, you're naturally this, you're naturally that. I work my ass off to do these asanas. Just know that. So if you want success in life, okay, this isn't just an asana thing. This is a life thing. You need to work your ass off. The harder you work, the better the results. Okay, today I'm going to be talking about not that drill, but a different drill. You may have seen my short on this. I did it just, a week ago maybe, but I didn't really explain it. So today I want to explain another drill that's going to help you to get into Hanumanasana, which is the full split on the floor, without even going on the floor. Now, the drill is this, and then I'm going to tell you why the drill is so effective. Start in like a mini downward facing dog. Let's say 2/3 of a dog, okay? Something, say, like this. Now, if you're extraordinarily tight, maybe you start a little further. I'm not really concerned how close you are. But you're gonna take one leg, doesn't matter which leg, because always you do everything with both legs. I hope you know that. And bend that knee and just take the leg off the wall, up the wall. So you see this top leg is straight or more or less straight. It's okay if it's bent a little bit. And if this is too much, then you just go further forward like this, okay? Now, the goal of this is to see how close I can get to put a crotch print on the wall. Now, how do I do that? I start walking my hands in. In fact, I'll show you another way in a second, but then I pop my leg up a little bit. You see, because as I get closer, my leg will be able to go higher. So I walk my hands in, pop my leg. Now, see what's happening with my shoulders. My shoulders are also moving back. So this has the nice byproduct of a nice shoulder opening and upper back opening. I walk the hands in. Now, here's the thing. If this top leg gets all crunchy, getting closer is not going to serve you anymore. You only want to go as close as you can, keeping the top leg straight or basically straight. So I continue to walk in, pop up, walk in, pop up. Now, here's what's going to happen. I like to turn this into sort of a bit of a handstand too, and it's a very, very simple thing to do. Once I walk all the way in, all I have to do, the baseboard is in the way. All I have to do is literally flex the foot. You see, here's foot down. I flex the foot, and I not only get a crotch print on the wall, but I get like a full sort of upper body workout here too, opening up my shoulders, my upper back, and working arm strength. How do I get out of this? I put my foot down. I walk the hands forward. You definitely want to walk your hands forward so that your leg can easily come out. Now I'm going to go ahead and show it a little bit of a different way on the other side. But in the meantime, why is this drill so effective? Now, first of all, hopefully you can tell that what I just did on the wall is exactly the same as a split on the floor, right? So if I were to come down and go like this, really bad form there, and then I turned the screen this way, it would be the pose that I just did. Now, This is like the magic of yoga. There are so many poses that if you turn them in a different direction, they become a different pose, right? Like a classic example would be, let's say, camel pose, okay? Right? Is the same exact pose as bridge pose. Can you see it? So what I just did on the wall, the split on the wall, which I'm going to do again in a second a little bit differently on the other leg, is the same as Hanuman on the floor. Now, why would I want to work on the wall instead of the floor? The wall is going to work best for two kinds of people: the super tight and the super bendy. Why? If you're super bendy, okay, having the bottom foot, in the air, remember as I flex my foot, I'll show again in a moment, in the air gives the bottom leg more freedom to square off the hips. So I'm just going to go in really quickly here, but when I come in, the tendency is to open the hips, you see, like this. But in Hanumanasana, it's actually square. Now, how do you know my hip is open? Well, first of all, my hip is facing you, but also look at this top foot. You see how it's facing sideways? It should not be facing sideways. It should be facing straight up. So when I free this leg, so I flex this foot and I sort of pull the hip up, then it helps me to square things off. Now, sorry, I didn't walk forward enough to get out of that. Why is this one really good also for super tight people? There are two answers. One is it's infinitely scalable. If you're insanely tight, like super duper insanely tight, you could, I'm just trying to stay on screen here, you go in a really long dog and just practice here, right? And just see for a while, can you just get to the point where this top leg is toe pointing down with your leg straight? And then eventually you walk in. But there's another benefit to the wall versus the floor. And it is that you don't have to contend with gravity, right? So when I'm working, let's say I'm working a split and I'm sort of tight, and I'm somewhere around here, if I take out my hands, right, first of all, my balance is going to be a lot harder. Woo! I'm being a little dramatic here, but second of all, gravity is pushing me down and can easily push me past my limits. If I'm working at the wall, it doesn't push me past my limit ever because A, I'm in control, and B, gravity does not work in this direction. Gravity works in this direction. So this is an opportunity to work all the way into your deepest splits without ever having to worry about pulling a muscle or going too far. So I think the first time I put the right leg up, this time I'll put the left leg up. I'm going to show you from a little bit of a different direction. This time I'll start with both feet away. So remember, before I started it in a down dog with both feet close. This time I'm going to start with my feet further away. Now, if you're tighter, your hands are going to be forward, right? Because you're not going to be able to get your palms flat if you're really, really tight. And again, this is all you're going to do. Let's say you're here. Now I have a few things that have to happen. This leg goes up, right? Just like before, but this leg is also going to have to go in. So here's how it goes. I walk in, I pop in, I slide up. You see? I mean, technically you could do that in any order that feels right for you, but I walk in, I pop in. You see how incremental this is? I walk up. So my goal, again, to get the crotch print on the floor is going to be get this foot to the wall and this foot as high as it will go, keeping my leg straight. Walk in, pop in, go up. Walk in, pop in, go up. Now, the reason I'm putting my knee on the floor, I'm on the wall right now, is because when you get a little too close, sometimes it gets hard to just slide it up. So I walk in, pop in, and up. Now again, you see how my hip is a little bit open. I'm gonna close that off, flex the foot, and pull up from the hip as I push back to the wall. And again, this is a full split. It just happens to be done on the wall. Now here's what's interesting. This is actually gonna be way easier, like way easier than say a standing split, which would be like much more, I guess, like equivalent than a Hanuman on the floor if you wanted to really like not even flip it and just take the same pose. But let's think about it. When I go into a standing split, meaning not using the wall, now I don't have the leverage of the wall to help me in. So if I were to come into a standing split, right, I can get that leg pretty high. But what happens if I square off? Boy, what a difference a square makes, right? Because I don't have the wall to push me into the full pose. So this is like an easy drill, quite honestly, a hack for you to find your absolute edge to help you into your splits. I'm gonna take questions in a minute, but I just want to reiterate. Do not get frustrated with this process, okay? It may take days, it may take months, it may take years, okay? Let's put this in perspective. It took me years, okay? So do not get discouraged. The only way that you accomplish amazing things is to not get discouraged if it takes years. You just keep going. Each day, push on your edge. That's super key. People get really, really lazy and they're like, oh, I've always used 3 blocks, so I always use 3 blocks. Or I always use 1 block, but I can't get past that 1 block. I'll tell you that the day that I got to the floor on my left side, which again was something like a year after my right side, was I literally in my mind, I'm like, why do I keep using a block on the left? This doesn't make sense. And I just got rid of the block and I went all the way down and I've never used the block ever since. It's the same with the wall. So you want to go always push on your edge, but never, as in ever, go past your edge. Because what happens when you go past your edge is injuries. Nobody wants injuries. And on top of it, injuries are just not worth it. There isn't a single pose in yoga that is worth hurting yourself over. I know it's a little ironic because I'm saying this with this bicep strap right now because I've really trashed my biceps. I'm not exactly even sure what I did because the truth is my whole practice is so slow. It's so mindful. It's so deliberate. But sometimes it's also a little bit dangerous. I'm not exactly doing the therapeutic form of yoga around here. Lots of handstands inversions. And by the way, quick shameless plug, if you're interested in handstands, be sure to check out my Handstand Breakthrough Revolution course. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get really close to the camera. You're gonna have to look at this beautiful sweaty face. I just finished my practice and my fuzzy hair. And if you have questions, let's see what they are and let's see how I can help you out. Okay, how old am I? I am 54 years old. A lot of women are really weird about telling their age to me. I'm super proud. I'm 54. I am still doing insane handstands. I'm doing crazy contortions. I have, so much balance, flexibility, strength because I practice a minimum of 2 hours every single day. Again, I can't emphasize enough. If you want to master something like a split, which is a very, very advanced stretch, you need to put in the work. You need to warm yourself up. You need to have a comprehensive practice. You need to have a broad practice that involves warm-ups and in heating poses and proper cool down and all of those things. You could get those on my Vimeo channel where I have hundreds of classes to get you into anything, including splits. Let's see, is that called knife pose? not in yoga. Honestly, in this day and age, people make up all sorts of names for yoga poses. But the pose on the wall that I just demonstrated isn't an actual pose, it's a drill. But full splits on the floor, like forward back splits, is actually in yoga called Hanumanasana. Hanumanasana means the pose dedicated to the deity or the Lord Hanuman, which was like the monkey god. You probably saw him. It's called Hanumanasana because he supposedly could leap like in a split from continent to continent, and that's where that name came from. But other people might call it other things. I'm just looking to see if there's lots of highs, so thank you so much. Okay. Do we have any questions that I can help you with specifically about splits? If not, I'll just demonstrate one more time the drill and you could take it from there. So here's what we do. Last time, get your questions ready. If there's no more questions by the time I get back, this video is gonna end. So again, this is a gravity-free drill that allows you to find your absolute edge, to go deeper all the time, to find your full splits. So you put one leg up the wall, walk your hands in, pop your foot up, take your foot higher. Walk your hands in, foot comes closer, foot comes higher. It doesn't matter what order you go in, it's whatever order works for you. Once you get all the way in, you could just flex this foot, pull up from the hip, and you've got your full split. And a little bit of a handstand. Always a good idea to walk all the way out before coming out. Okay, folks. Never any questions. It really, really amazes me. I mean, the question of how old I am always comes in. That also amazes me. I mean, whatever. I know people are curious. Again, I'm 54 and super proud. I'm proud to be 54. And for those of you who are sending some hearts, thank you so much. I just want to tell you that, in case you haven't heard, age is just a number. So never be ashamed of your age. There are things you can control in life and things you can't. You can control things like your weight. Don't make excuses. You can. You could control things like how hard you work on things, but you cannot control your age. All you can do is the best you can do with what you've got. What I've got is 54 years of living experience. And yes, full splits. Is there any question? Any questions at all? Maybe I'm missing something here. Doesn't look like I'm missing anything here. I'm gonna give like one, probably less than a minute, but I know that if you have a question, just write, I'm typing, so I know that it's coming. Otherwise, we're gonna finish off in a minute. Don't forget that if you go to my, my Vimeo channels, that you could get full-length classes that will get you into literally any yoga goals that you have, no matter what level you are. I'm so sorry that I don't speak Spanish. Escribo, I know, I know that means write. So I think that you're saying that you don't write in English, but I am, maybe it says that I'm special. And in fact, I'm not even sure if that is Spanish. I think it might actually be Portuguese. But whatever it is, I think you're saying something nice, Bizarra Lucas. And if so, I just want to thank you. I get a lot of comments that are inappropriate sometimes. So for those of you who are saying hi and sending love, thank you so much. I say hi and send love back from Los Angeles, California. Signing off, this is Shana Meyerson with YOGAthletica. If you're coming to this late, just remember you could always write questions in the comments below. I will always answer them. Thank you so much for all of you who tuned in and all of you who stopped in to say hello. My name again is Shana Meyerson. The channel is YOGAthletica. If you haven't explored the channel, check it out. I have yoga tutorials for every pose and transition that you could probably think of in the entire world. So Kieran is asking me, I'm a beginner in yoga, how to start it. That's a really good question. Again, as I mentioned, and it's in my show notes, I have what is called my Vimeo channels, where I have full length classes. Okay, so what I do here on YouTube is I teach poses. Okay, but if you want to practice yoga, you need full classes. Okay, so if you sign up for my Vimeo and you email me, I will tell you exactly what classes to start with. And by the way, there are hundreds of classes there, so it can get a little confusing, but each one says what level it is, level 1, 2, or 3, 1 being beginner, 2 being intermediate, 3 being advanced, how intense it is. Like, is it really hard? Is it sort of hard? Is it not hard at all? I've got them all. And then it will also say how long it is. I have some short videos, they're like 15 or 20-minute classes if you don't have a lot of time. And I have long ones that go for 2 hours or more. So no matter what you want, I've got it there. And then of course, in the title, I'll also give you an idea of what the class is about. Now, if you aren't ready to sign up for my Vimeo and you are a beginner and you want to know how to start, the best thing to do is to go to check out on my feed, look up sun salutations, okay? If you start with sun salutation A, I have a number of different sun salutations. I have one video that teaches the salutation in general. I have one that goes through 5 in a row. If you want more of just like a full flow, you could just do 5 salutations a day and it will make a huge difference in your life. Believe it or not, it really works. And I also have sun salutations that involve handstands and all sorts of crazy stuff. So if you want to start from scratch, start with my sun salutations or go to my Vimeo, reach out to me. I will help to create, even if you're not a beginner, if you're intermediate, or even if you're the most advanced student on earth, I promise my Vimeo has classes that will change your entire practice. Vinay, thank you for checking in from India. I saw a lot of A's there for a second. I thought it was Indiana. Keith, I'm glad you're late. I'm glad you're here. I'm just finishing off, but as I hope you guys know, live videos go straight to replay. So as soon as we sign off, you'll be able to watch the whole thing all over again as many times as you want to, straight from my feed. Ashay, wow. Akshay, sorry. You asked me, you're about the 4th person to ask this now. May you know how young I am. Thank you so much. That's not usually the words that I get. Usually what people say to me is, Grandma, how old are you? Like the number of times that I've had people, sorry about my frizzy hair, call me grandma, and I don't think they mean it to be mean, but I'm like, Grandma, I'm not even a mom. But the answer is, I am 54 years old. And I practice my yoga usually 2.5 hours every single day. So it really does help. Keith, I'm glad that live is better than rewatch. Thank you for all the kind words, guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Vinay. Live is better because I get to answer your questions. So does anybody else have any questions? If you want me to, thank you for loving my outfit. I'll tell you something funny. I've never worn these shorts before. White shorts are a little weird, and I found them in my drawer today. I'm like, let's put on some white shorts. Where am I from? I'm in Los Angeles, California. So if anybody has any questions, including for those of you who came late, if you want me to reiterate
the drill that we did today, just type again, just type really quickly, do it again. I'll show you the drill that helps us to get into splits. But if anybody, hi Simpson, if anybody has any questions, hi Alia, hi everybody, please type it in. Thank you, Kieran. I really appreciate your kind note. I have to be honest, guys. It's not always easy being a creator because you don't really know what people on the other side are thinking. You don't know if they like you. You don't know if they hate you. You don't know if they're learning. You don't know anything. And so when I get nice messages from people, I just want you to know that I appreciate it so very much. And I really do put a lot of my heart and soul into these videos. I hope that you can feel that when you watch my tutorials. And again, if you want my full length classes, you go to my Vimeo channels. You can find the links like in the description of just about any one of my videos. And yes, I am from California. I'm from Los Angeles, and it's a great place. I can't complain. I love it here. Again. Okay, Keith, I'm not sure if you actually missed the demonstration or if you just want to see it again, but I'm happy to do it again. So one more time, guys, and I do encourage if you have actual questions about splits, I can't emphasize enough how much I appreciate the kindness that comes through on the messages. So thank you so much. But I do also want to make sure that if anybody is working on their splits and has questions, that I can help you out. So again, the drill that we were working on today, this is a drill that is infinitely scalable, which means no matter how tight or how loose you are, you can always do this drill. And unlike practicing splits on the floor, there's no gravity, which means that it doesn't push you past an edge, which means that as long as you're mindful, you will never injure yourself in this. All you will do is improve. So the drill, again, is if you start with one foot up the wall, you want to make sure that this top leg is straight or pretty straight. It's okay if it's like a little bit bent. And the goal is to get this foot to the wall and this crotch to the wall. So, excuse my French, I walk the hands back, the foot back, this foot goes up. You want to make sure your foot is not facing sideways, okay? Because Hanumanasana is not an open hip pose. So you want your toes on the, I have a little bit of congestion here. Sorry if that is annoying with all the sniffing. So I walk in, pop the foot in, get this leg up. And you can see that because there's no gravity pushing me down, there's no risk as long as I'm mindful with what my body is ready for. And once you're already on the wall, you can just flex this foot, take that foot right off the floor, getting a little bit of extra love for your shoulders and upper back. Then you walk your hands forward and step out. And again, if you just take that and turn it sideways, you're in a split. Okay, any questions that, any questions about actual splits that I might be able to answer for you? I've said going once, going twice now for about 10 minutes, and we're going once and going twice. Which time is, oh, that's a great question, Kieran. Which time is best for yoga daily? Now, remember that before when I said, when I was asked, like, what is the best way to start yoga? And I said sun salutations, right? So what is a sun salutation? Sun salutation means saluting the sun. So that being said, if sun salutations, which is the basic warm-up of Ashtanga yoga and Vinyasa yoga, if sun salutations means greeting the sun, what time do you think is the ideal time to practice? Anybody have any ideas of like when yoga is ideally practiced? Morning time. Any other answers, or does everyone agree with morning? Seems logical, right? We greet the sun in the morning. And I'll tell you something else interesting. So yes, you do it in the morning. Ideally, you start your practice even before the sun rises. I don't. I mean, sometimes I do. Now I do because the sun is rising later in the morning. But I practice around 6:30, 7 a.m. every day. And you would assume morning and night, Keith. That's an interesting concept because the sunrise and the sunset. To be honest, most people practice once a day. Now, when I say that it's ideal to practice in the morning, it doesn't mean you can only practice in the morning. It's just classically, that's how like Ashtanga or Vinyasa is a branch of Ashtanga is practiced. And so therefore, I think I've personally, even before yoga, I used to go to the gym at 4 a.m. every day. I just believe there's no better way to start a day than with exercise. So overall, yoga or not yoga, I just think that morning is the best time. But here's something cool. I have been practicing for 24 years. So anyway, okay, now you're cracking me up. I really don't think that like beauty is the thing going on here. But anyway, thank you so much. But here's something that's interesting about sun salutations. And I talk about this in my Paschimottanasana video. If you think about it, when you greet the sun, right? How would you greet the sun? You would greet the sun facing the sun, correct? So if I'm facing the sun, where does the sun rise? In the east or in the west? Does anybody know? Oh boy, I hope you know that. The sun rises in the east, okay? Which means traditionally you're gonna practice facing the east. But yes, east. But here's what else is interesting. Okay, so if I'm facing the east, that means in yoga, this is my east side. My back would be my west side. This would be my north side, and this would be my south side, right? Makes sense if I were a compass. Sun is in the east. Behind me would be the west, north, south. So here's what's cool. God, this has nothing to do with splits, but it sort of does. So Paschimottanasana, right, which is the basic forward bend, this, which is, by the way, like the best hamstring stretch that's out there. And yes, I have a long and involved tutorial on it. Check it out because hamstrings help your splits a lot as well. But what does Paschimottanasana mean? This is pretty cool. Paschimottanasana means, Paschima means the west side. Paschimottanasana means intense stretch of the west side. So when I go forward, it stretches my legs and my back. Remember, sun salutations, face the east. This is the west. We actually do have an intense stretch of the east side as well. It's called Purvottanasana. That's the stretch of the front of your body. Yeah, I have a tutorial on that one too. And that's this one. So just a little side note, but forward bends are always great also for stretching out your hamstrings to help you in your splits. How did I learn all these different yoga techniques? Thank you, Angelica. That's a very, very good question. The answer is for about 15 years, I actually went to classes every day. I'm lucky to live in Los Angeles near Santa Monica. I'm in Brentwood. And all of the best teachers literally on earth were in Los Angeles at the turn of the century when I started. I started in 2001 in August. so almost exactly 24 years ago. And so I'm lucky that all of the instructors I have ever worked with in my entire life are world famous, and I learned so much from them. Now, if you want to learn from me, you could go to my Vimeo classes. The link is in the description below, where I have hundreds of full-length classes. Again, here on YouTube, I teach poses. Poses are great, but that's not yoga. Yoga is a practice. So when I went to classes, here's what I recommend. Everybody has favorite teachers, right? I'm all about favorite teachers, but here's what I recommend. Find your favorite teacher, but don't go to them more than 5 days a week. The other 2 days, if you practice 7, I'm assuming 7, but let's say you practice 4, just scale it down. The other 2 days, try other teachers, because your teacher, no matter how great they are, even if it's me, only knows what they know, right? And other people are going to have different techniques, different ideas, different secrets. So I recommend, like, for me, what I used to do when I went to a studio, I did 5 days of vinyasa, 1 day of Iyengar, or 2 days of Iyengar. Then after 15 years of daily practice in the studio, I started practicing alone at home. And once you have like a really strong foundation for your practice, then you can start actually teaching yourself new techniques, because it's a lot of like mixing and matching. So all of my like hardcore handstands and stuff and arm balances, I have taught myself. And it's just from a lot of practicing, and yes, a lot of falling and failing. That's why I'm good at things. Not because I'm naturally good at things, but because I don't give up. So Kieran is asking, if we want to lose weight, does yoga help in it? I thought that yoga is for flexibility. Is it true? So that's 2 big questions. The flexibility question, yes, yoga will help you with flexibility, but it will also help you with strength, balance. It builds muscle mass, it builds bone density, it helps with digestion, it helps with all the things. So yoga will help you lose weight if you practice diligently, just like, quite honestly, any exercise program, right? So the difference between yoga and any exercise program is that yoga has a mental, a physical, and a spiritual aspect to it. So it's not just a workout, but it does have all the benefits of the workout. Now, I'm going to tell you something that okay, let me back up. I'm going to tell you something that I've said a few times on YouTube, even though it may be controversial for yoga. But if you want to know the one thing that is going to keep you the healthiest and the healthiest weight in the entire world, even more than yoga and even more than diet, it's water. Just drink water. Hydration is the key to everything. First of all, it will make your digestive system more efficient, but it's really good for really all of your systems, but it also sort of fills you up so you don't eat as much, and it helps to keep your body clean and healthy. So if I had to give one piece of like weight loss or fitness advice in the whole entire world, is drink more water. Drink as much as you can. The only problem with that is it does keep you in the bathroom a little bit. Would you say the way you practice yoga is very personalized to you? Angelica, 100%. My practice is a practice that is by me, for me. I don't do, like for example, Ashtanga is a formal series of poses. Bikram is a formal series of poses. There are a lot of people who do like just like somebody else's sequence, the same thing every day. For me, because I practice by myself, I personalize it every single day. And whatever I want to work on that day is what I work on. Now, that being said, I do have like a general basis of certain things that I do. And in fact, I've been talking about my Vimeo channel where I have my full-length classes. I have 2 channels. I have Always on Tap, which is like, I think it's about 150 classes there right now. And then I have my Yoga Superhero. Now, the reason I'm mentioning that, that's my premium channel. But I have a class on there called the Full Monty and another one called the Fuller Monty that pretty much goes over what I do every day, with modifications, because every day I mix things up and give myself new challenges. So I do personalize my practice for myself. I've only practiced by myself for 10 years, so I make up my practice every day. So that's important to know. If you want a personalized practice, you have to have like a really sound practice of your own. Like, it took me 15 years before I started being able to put together really good hour and a half practices for myself. And now I practice 2.5 hours every single day. And it's very personal. The problem sometimes for people working out, practicing at home, is that it's easy to get lazy, right? There's no schedule. For that, I recommend that you literally schedule your yoga into your life just as you would schedule any appointment. I know you could ask me any single day of the week what time I will be on my mat, and I'll be able to tell you. I know every single day what time I'm going to practice, and I don't skip practices, and I never back off. Okay. I go full on every single day. Among other things, I'm 54 now. I'm not going to lie. It's different from being 34. So I have to work twice as hard to get the same results. So you know what I do? I work twice as hard. Okay. Any other questions? Angelica, you subscribe to my YouTube or to my Vimeo? If anybody needs help with my Vimeo, email me, because I will give you a personalized list of classes to get you to whatever goal you want to get to. Yes, create the habit. Does anybody, to my YouTube, thank you so much, guys. Every like, comment, subscribe, all of it helps. Do I have, Keith, you're asking, do I have membership for members only content here on YouTube? I don't anymore. I used to, but because people were not signing up for the extra content and it was a lot of extra work, I don't have special members only content here on YouTube, but I do on Vimeo. So again, the link is in the description. It might not be showing now because it's a live video. It might, I don't know, but as soon as we're done, you'll be able to do that. It's just on vimeo.com. My Always on Tap is where I have my classes. And then my Yoga Superhero is where I have all those classes, plus workshops, plus philosophy discussions, plus student model classes for those of you who like to look at people who struggle a little bit with the content instead of just watching me and going, how the hell is she doing that? I really do try to break everything down really clearly, but sometimes people like to see peer models. So I have classes with peer models on my Superhero channel as well. Any other questions? Guys, please do subscribe, like, comment, share. It really helps. If you're not a content creator, it's hard to understand what it means to spend your whole life creating free content. It's funny, I think people think that people on YouTube earn so much money. Let me tell you what I earn, okay? I'll be completely transparent what I earn. I get about 1 million views a month, and thank you all for subscribing. I have a feeling that the 420 refers to something that I'm not about to refer to. I am the Just Say No poster girl. However, that was my best friend's birthday. So for me, it's a magical number. I was going to tell you what a YouTube influencer. So I've got about 57,000 followers. They are no bots, no like purchases. These are actual organic subscribers. So I get about 1 million views a month. And does anybody want to guess how much a YouTube person, content creator gets for about 1 million views? Anybody want to guess? How much do you think a YouTube creator gets paid for 1 million views? Anybody want to guess? $100,000, $2,000. Any other guesses? So again, I know you're spitballing. Believe me, I know you're spitballing. I wish it were $100,000 for 1 million views. Anybody else want to make any guesses how much I get per 1 million views? Basically a month from YouTube. Okay, so just so you guys have an idea of what being a full-time content creator pays, if people don't go out of their way to like pay for subscriptions, for example, and support you, or super chats, 5,000. Okay, so everybody's in like the somewhere thousands range. This all sounds very, very reasonable. So $500. Angelica, you're on the right path. I wish it were 100,000. At this point, I wish we're even 500. So just so you know, for 1 million, and I've posted screenshots of this, you can see it in my community. For 1 million views a month, I get paid less than $100 from YouTube, just so you know. So it depends on, so you get paid more if you're on YouTube during like say Christmas and times when there's a lot of advertising. You might get $100 per million. It is insane. Most months I get somewhere in the vicinity of about $80 per million views. So it's not easy. So let me just say, I really do, it is insane. It's absolutely insane, especially considering how much money. Oh, want to hear something more insane? Do you know that even for people who cannot monetize their channels because they don't have enough followers yet, because you have to have like a certain number of followers and a certain number of views to monetize, that YouTube still shows commercials on their content and they don't get paid for it. So yes, I can do middle splits. I'm not going to do middle splits today, but I do have middle splits. If you go to my Upavishta Konasana video, I get into all of the details of how to master middle splits. So anyway, any other questions about the Hanumanasana split, the forward back split, like the classic, like gymnastics, like forward back split, before we finish off? Thanks guys for being so interactive today. I really love interacting with you guys, and sometimes I get a lot of interaction on these things. Sometimes I'm just sitting here talking to myself. So I'm glad that today I'm not sitting talking to myself. I just on a whim was like, why don't I shoot this video today? I'm so glad you all showed up. If there's any questions on splits, you've got 15 seconds to write, I have a question, and I will wait for you. Otherwise, oh, Angelica, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the super chat, Angelica, and the little sticker. Oh my gosh, you just made my day. Guys, thank you, Kieran. I appreciate it. Angelica, let me tell you why it is much. It's much because you took the extra time and effort, and because I don't care if somebody leaves. I've had people leave, $1, $2. I've had people literally leave $1,000. To me, it's the heart that matters. And if you take that extra step and make a donation where I am providing what would otherwise be free, you have gone so far above and beyond the other, 57,000 followers that I have every day. And I just want you to know it's deeply appreciated. And I'm just looking at that sticker and it's really making me smile. So thank you so much, Angelica. OGOG, yes, I do make personal videos. Don't even ask about sexy videos. I don't do that kind of stuff. I don't do foot videos. I don't do any of that stuff, but I do personal yoga videos. If you're interested, email me. I'm very easy to find. I'm the only Shana Meyerson literally in the entire world. And I'm certainly the only Shana Meyerson at YOGAthletica.com. That's my email is just Shana at YOGAthletica.com. You could get the spellings just from my title. Any other questions? Angelica, you're flexible, you don't have the strength to hold the pose. What would be my recommendation? Which pose? Which pose are you talking about? Like going into sort of like the handstand version of what I did? Or just so you guys know, my battery's about to die, so I don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to stay on. If your question, Angelica, is once you're all the way in, flexing the foot and taking it off the floor, doesn't give you don't have enough strength to hold that, to sustain that, then keep your foot on the floor. If it's a lot of pressure on your arms when you walk in, you may be walking in a little too far. So find the place where you can hold it. But if you want to build upper body strength, the easiest way to do it is plank. Just hold plank. Try to hold it for 15 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute, 5 minutes. If you just hold plank position, and by the way, on my Vimeo, I have a class I think is called Plank a Lot or something like that. I shot it a while ago, and that's a good way to go. But if you just want the simplest thing, just hold plank. Do it once, twice, 3 times, whatever you want. During the day, stop, drop, plank, hold. It will build great upper body strength, both in your arms and in your core. And if you do a proper plank, it will even get into your legs. It's one of the most comprehensive poses out there for building strength. Any other questions? Thank you guys. These have been great questions. Any other questions that I can answer before my battery dies? If you have one, write really quickly. I've got one so I don't hang up on you. But again, just remember, my live videos always turn into videos. So they're in the live tab. But you could always rewatch and ask questions in the comments. Obviously, it's not the same as my answering with my mouth, but I answer every single comment on every single video every single day. If you don't get a reply from me on a comment, it's because sometimes YouTube does not send me, for some reason, a notification. So only if I have a notification will I reply, but I think I replied to about 99%. So any other questions? Going once? Going twice? This is Shana Meyerson with YOGAthletica in Los Angeles, California. Namaste, and everybody have a great day.